Good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm going to start with a small story of my personal experiences with AI use. I had a chance to collaborate with a resort a while ago, and they had a clear issue in their business model. This resort, the pictures are not representing it, but this resort had an issue that they have a lot of people coming there and staying overnight. But those people don't use activity services. They have a wide range of different kind of activities that people can buy and enjoy the nature, enjoy the surroundings, but people are not buying these activity services. So we were thinking that, okay, that's a clearly defined problem. How do we solve that? And of course we started brainstorming and putting out different ideas. And then we started thinking, okay, what if we ask AI? What can it help? Can it really help us? You know, there's a lot of experience in that room about how to increase sales and how businesses operate and so on. And we asked AI for advice, presented very simple prompt that this is the company, they do this and this, we have this and this is our customer group. That can you give us a few ideas? Or how would you fix this? And the AI came up with a clear plan that has very much many of the elements that we had already discussed during that meeting. But then it was the next step that was important, which was provide us with 100 ideas of what we can do. And this is something that none of us in the room could do, to list 100 different options for the company to increase sales of these activities, improve marketing, improve customer service, all of these kind of things. And that kind of like took the AI use to the next level. However, what was the issue is that 95% of those 100 ideas were something that was not really implementable in the company. But those 5 ideas were really, really good. Something that were worth trying out and implementing. And this is kind of like one of the big strengths of AI, that it can really help us in this ideation process. But you need to have the expertise to understand the business that the AI might not have, or the data that you yourself have. But now what I'm seeing and really enjoying is this partner in crime, so to say, that AI can be for any kind of product development, business development project. And I would strongly recommend to start implementing it in all kinds of business development projects. Of course, there's some issues with the data, that how much data you can and should share with the AI, and you cannot share personal information of your customers and stuff like this, of course. But in any case, I think it can provide us with external perspective on many of the things that we see. Let's say, sometimes we humans have the tendency of getting stuck. And I think AI can really help us to expand our thinking in many ways. And I strongly recommend trying out and implementing it. And I've seen from yesterday that many of you have already been doing that. So some background for me, I've been studying tourism technologies. Oh, this is in Finnish. Okay, interesting. I've been studying tourism technologies for 15 years, and I have a marketing background. Did my PhD on rural tourism and market segmentation, and have been working on university ever since. And I've been studying how technologies impact tourism, especially social media, sharing economy, and metaverse, virtual reality technologies, and now of course the AI. And what is different from well, I'm not maybe different, but I think that AI is having the similar kind of impact that social media had and that mobile devices had, which completely changed the game for tourism businesses and businesses in general. Now I'm seeing the same kind of impact with AI technology, and this is really, really interesting stuff that is happening. I'm also lucky enough to work with a lot of different companies, developing their businesses, consulting them, and acting as a board member, helping these companies. out and ensuring that the stuff that we are teaching in our international master's degree program in tourism marketing management at our university is really indeed relevant for companies. That's why it's also interesting for me to be in events like this and all the discussions we've had during the day about how is AI impacting companies, how is AI impacting destination, what are the big trends. It's really a fantastic opportunity to be here. In this presentation, we are going to look deeper into the service design process and really going into the practical level of what AI can do and how you can take the most out of the AI systems that we currently have in place. We have also ongoing project in our university, Metaverse Meets the Experience Industry, where we are testing out variety of different AI technologies in developing the experience industry, analyzing, collecting data. And I'm going to share some of the experiences that we've gathered. I have a data scientist, machine learning expert, neural network expert who is working with me in these projects. It's been quite interesting to get to understand this and try to best to understand this scale of this AI technology and the change that is happening. We all know the service design process. I think there's like 100,000 different models on how services should be designed, what are the main issues with this process. But in general, you typically can structure this process into 5 different phases. That you have the research and discovery phase, where you try to understand the customer, trying to understand the markets. Then you define and ideate the product and service, prototype and test it, invite people out, potentially target group people to test it out, collect feedback, improve the product, then implement it into the scale where you want it to operate, and then evaluate and develop the process and the service all the time. And what AI is doing and what we are discussing here in this presentation going through is all of these phases, that what can we do and how can AI help right now, and just simple AI systems that we have in place in all of these phases, and also how I see that things are developing, what is in the pipeline in the future for AI technologies and how are those impacting this process. How big is startups? We saw some really great examples yesterday of the AI systems that you can use, Claude and ChatGPT and Midjourney and so on and so on and so on. Dealroom is a website that's focused on startups, and they are listing at this moment on their website different generative AI startups. So this is just generative AI, which is just one AI technology. We have a lot of different AI technologies where these GPTs are just one. But they are listing different kind of startups that are focusing on this topic. And they are not listing hundreds, they are listing 1,400 startups in this field. I think it's an astonishing number of companies, each trying to utilize and understand how will this technology change business, how will this technology change society. What is interesting, of course, is when we know how startups work, typically maybe 10% of these will become something, which is, let's say, I would say, as an innovation system, that's quite wasteful in some ways. But nonetheless, those 10 will probably do and reach something really fundamentally different than what currently is available. This kind of disruptive thinking that we've been talking about also yesterday. These are the organizations, these are the companies that are disrupting not just business, but also flowing straight into the tourism field as well. When we look at the categories, okay, what are these 1,400 companies doing with this generative AI technology? This is basically the list. All the categories are collected from this this data set. I have a colleague analyzing all of the descriptions of the companies at this moment, but this is the list we have from that deal room website. What are these AI systems doing? As the technology name states, it's generative AI. So every time you need to generate something, this technology is really, really good for it. So we have audio, music, image, video, game and virtual character generation, application generation, game generation. It's astonishing that with this technology, just with Claude and typical models that are available basically for anybody for a very cheap price, I would say, you can basically anybody. You could learn, maybe you are an expert coder already, but if you weren't, you could learn to code a game in a week with these tools, starting from zero. And I think that's astonishing. Like, I was coding games when I was 11, 12 years old in in ASCII code, and it was just horrible. And it's astonishing what this technology can now do for us in generating whatever we want. The issue, for example, with code generation and all of this application generation is that AI is not an expert. I think this is something that is kind of like very that goes with everything we do with this technology, that it's hardly an expert, like world-class expert. It's a good, let's say, employee, junior level associate in a consultancy company can do the same stuff that the ChatGPT can or AI systems can. But then these top-level coders or top-level business consultants, senior executives, that they have this kind of knowledge and understanding that are not in these systems, at least not yet, because that is so rare. That kind of expertise is so rare in the training datasets that they have not been able to train these AIs to have those capabilities, at least not yet. And that's what I'm seeing with my students, for example. I have hundreds of assignments returned and submitted to my courses every year. And AI has been one of the biggest changes in the education field I've experienced. I've taught courses at universities for almost 20 years, and nothing has had such a dramatic change in my career than what these AI systems right now are starting to have for the learning process of my students. Like we are moving from assessing what can you do, what are your capabilities, into assessing what can student AI teams do together. And that's a completely different paradigm shift in assessments, in learning goals, in the courses, and so on. And I think that's the right way to go, that we have to learn how to utilize these AI systems as effectively as possible, as responsibly as possible. Some universities have gone, for example, back into the pen and paper exams, that is the easy way out. That's how you test what the student can do. But that's not very representative of what you guys have to do and what we have to do in the industry every day. The skills that you are testing with pen and paper exams are not something that is really valid for us. So we are now trying to implement all kinds of AI literacy in our courses, and they are connected to all these kind of topics that AI is impacting, and especially generative AI is impacting at this moment. All right, what if we put these two together? So we have the service design process, and we have a lot of AI applications. Maybe this will go into the direction that now we have 1,400 different startups. Maybe we'll have one platform that is doing all of these things. In the future, it's difficult to say, but typically that's what happens in technology, that we have just one AI that can do all of that. But let's look at the research and discovery phase. How can you utilize AI? How do we make this? Let's say this is a starting point. for AI use. Just inspiration, ideation, what we could do, where we are going. Research and discovery phase. How do we come up with the understanding that what do customers need? These AI systems are fantastic. Even these generative AI systems are really fantastic at processing large volumes of user feedback and any kind of survey data that you have. I remember back in the days, we used to have students doing customer satisfaction surveys for companies because companies didn't have the resources to analyze the results of customer satisfaction surveys. But now these technologies are doing it automatically from basically any kind of data set. These are just some ideation prompts for you guys to start thinking about the capabilities that just a normal ChatGPT or Claude or maybe even DeepSeek, if you are using that, can start from. So you don't necessarily need any of those 1,400 startups and their platforms, because these GPT systems that we already have fantastic capabilities. Then we can also analyze market research data. So we can submit, let's say, Visit Finland is doing fantastic market analysis for different target markets. We can implement and submit these reports that are publicly available, some data from Statistics Finland, put all of that together and let the AI identify what kind of customer needs there are that are still unmet. What kind of problems, what kind of issues customers have that no one is catering for. And also we can do, for example, benchmarking. We can add something my colleague is doing is basically scraping the websites of the different companies and letting AI to compare and benchmark these companies against each other depending on the content they have on their website, what are the strengths and weaknesses of different destinations and different companies. And AI is doing that automatically. And this is something that I'm seeing like happening, so that I always say that companies should be, let's say, passionately interested about how their customers and potential customers are doing, and you can never understand people too much. And I'm seeing that now with AI systems being capable of, for example, generating video, talking heads, or there's an AI application that replaces you in Teams meetings. So you can give the AI your face and your voice and your way of speech, and the AI replicates you and joins Teams meetings for you. But this can go further, that AI soon will be interviewing our customers that, thank you for visiting us, would you have 5 minutes for debriefing about this experience? You can send an online link and organize team meeting with customer, and AI does this automatically. The technology is already there, we are just waiting for a startup to develop the system. If we are able to build these automatic customer understanding processes with AI, I can see how that can be beneficial for many companies. Also, any kind of other data set that you have, for example, all of your reviews from Google Maps or all of your TripAdvisor reviews, you can give them to AI to analyze. Then in the ideation phase that I already gave an example about, this was a great example of how do we increase sales. This is our our current state, and ask AI to ideate it. Maybe that's 100 different kind of solutions for this issue that we currently have. Analyze our current tourism sales process and such as innovative improvements by examining ding, 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 ding. And you can develop these prompts. I had a master student doing his thesis, Tommi Kekäläinen, on prompting AI systems in generating chatbots. And he found out huge differences between different prompting methods. So prompting definitely impacts the output you are getting. And I think this is critical, that all of these are kind of like starting points. How I see it is that working with AI is pretty similar to coding. That you are making the first draft, then you are seeing what works there, then you're editing, debugging the code, debugging your prompt, improving it, that this area needs improvement, I'm not satisfied with that, or maybe you'll get an idea that you develop further with the AI and so on. So it's a process. It's not just prompt and results, but it's this iterative process that is really important. We can ask it visualize our service concepts, and I think this visualization technique is getting better and better. Like when GPT-3 came out and the Midjourneys had their first versions, it was ridiculous. Like everybody was laughing that that's so stupid, that doesn't look like human at all. And then we were laughing that, okay, now those texts that you are trying to add to the pictures are completely incorrect. But the capabilities are developing all the time. And now with these advanced programs, you can, it's starting to be limited by your imagination first and foremost, what you can do, than what the technology is capable of. And we are in the very beginning. Like GPT technology is maybe 3 years old now. Really, this is nothing for like a technological process if we think of how smartphones have developed over 20 years. How will these systems develop over 20 years? We can make mind maps, we can make workflow diagrams. Just with ChatGPT has this mind map capabilities that allows us to generate workflow diagrams and edit that. So all kind of documentation that you might have and need about your company can be done already with these very basic GPT systems. And I think this is really, really important for us to kind of like train our own business development AI. Maybe that is something that we can all do when you are developing your custom GPTs, that you could develop your my own business consultant GPT there, where you are uploading your own data about your company, how it is doing, what are its processes, what customers are thinking, how is market developing, putting all of these together for these AI systems. And this is important because if there is no data to train these AI systems to help them understand the context where you are working, then they have very little touch points and understanding really about your companies. They will always produce an answer, but the quality of that answer is dependent on how much data you are able to provide that AI system with. We can also do a lot of prototyping and testing. Just basically ideating what might be the issues and dealing with these already before we are inviting people there. It can impersonate our customers. We can send them the documentation. We can send them the customer persona, all of this kind of data. And help it to analyze, for example, 100 customer interactions in the company. This is something I'm finding really useful, that you can generate different kind of data sets and different kind of scenarios and different kinds of situations, kind of like that especially for teaching, for case studies, it's really fantastic what you can generate with these AI systems. We can also test how our customer response and problem-solving capabilities work in the organization. Again, different kind of scenario testing based on for example, customer feedback. And we can also predict that this is our company, this is our product, these are our customers. Can we generate these prediction models? And I actually tested these capabilities already, that I inputted artificial data, and we are doing this with our students. And it's surprising for me that what it can do. It can generate more and more stuff that I thought that wouldn't even be possible. But then it produces like really smart answers, not perfect, but smart answers nonetheless. And I put all of the final phases together, implementation, evaluation, and iteration. which I'm seeing. I come from a marketing background. This is kind of like the biggest change I'm seeing and teaching about the future of my students, that should we train marketing anymore? What is happening to marketing? Because I'm seeing companies who are automatically generating 400 videos and uploading them to TikTok and Instagram and YouTube and gaining millions of views a day. And all of this is an automated process. Then the people are commenting these Instagram videos, and when they are commenting, there is a AI sending them an email, and then they are added to the email list, and then AI is discussing with them through the emails, nurturing this contact, sending them additional information, sending them offers, sending them materials, until that person is ready to buy, and then it can be directed to a human, or even that process can be automated. I know startups are moving also in tourism field into this direction, that the whole service offering is automated. That for example, when business customer contacts you, that I'm gonna come there with 50 people and I want this and this, or what do you have to offer, that AI will be doing that automatically, those offers for customers, and business to business customers, business to consumer customers. So this kind of automation is happening really fast at this moment. I'm seeing that perhaps in the future it might be that marketing works, that you just said, this is my budget, I want to improve my brand, I want to improve my sales, and this is my website, and then the AI does all content generation, all text generation, lead generation, manages the whole sales funnel, sales and marketing funnel, basically. And I think the technology is starting to be there. I'm just waiting who is going to be first. Will it be HubSpot? Will it be Facebook? And all of those already have implemented a lot of AI features. What is also really cool is this kind of like what AI manages to do. I'm working with Salmi platform, which is a Finnish startup, and they are collecting basically survey data from events and tourism destinations in real time as the event is happening. So instead of sending out surveys after people have been in the event, they are collecting data when people are in the event, providing different kind of incentives for people to fill in a survey. And what they are seeing is, and what AI is doing is it's automatically all the time in real time analyzing customer feedback. So basically, if a customer writes that the toilets are dirty, the company will get that information immediately through this AI system and is able to go and clean the toilets before the event has ended. And I think this kind of like real-time activity is really big thing in, for example, when we consider customer satisfaction, that we are able to deal the issues that customers have increasingly rapidly. Of course, we can implement different kind of service delivery processes depending on the data that we have. Let it monitor customer flow. How do customers move in the event? How do customers interact with different sales points of sales, and so on, depending on the data that we have. Again, real-time tracking with AI capabilities is fantastic. And we have been talking about already yesterday that it's not if your company is using AI, but customers are already using AI. And this is increasing, that when all of these platforms becoming more and more commonplace, customers are starting to make their decisions using these service providers and using these AI systems. The technology will be developing. We have now new equipment, new wearable devices coming up that are AI connected to AI. So you will have your own AI assistant in your glasses that will instruct you what to do, what you have purchased, where to go, how you are doing, providing more information about your surroundings. And that will definitely have a big change on customer experience. I've been really happy to hear this importance of human touch among all of this kind of automation speech. It still has a big role. I know there's a lot of research coming up with robotics. Robotics is increasing really rapidly, and I'm seeing scientists testing out different kind of things that you can do with robots, from restaurants to hotels, and we are seeing them coming together and being used for different purposes. And that is technology that is developing really, really rapidly. This humankind, human-like robots, of course, with the development of AI. But still, like hospitality, what is hospitality? It is caring about another human being. You can care about somebody else using these technologies. So I think that's perfectly fine. But still the role of humans and human connection is really important part of the experience. The more you can help the AI understand your business, the better it is for AI. The more accurate recommendations it can do, the more information and ideation and different options it can develop. And importance of prompting has been discussed already. So it's capabilities of your workers, capabilities of your managers that really define how much your organization is able to benefit from all of the possibilities that AI is generating at this very moment. So it's not something that is coming up, but there's huge possibilities already. I'm a little bit afraid that companies will be divided into two categories. Those that understand the importance of data and are able to utilize it in all of these things that we have been talking about. They have the documentation, they have the understanding how the company works, what are the customers, and are able to utilize that data even more effectively now. And then we have companies that don't have the data, which are not able to improve and get up to speed with those companies that are hopefully developing their customer experience, who are hopefully developing their back office as well, making organizations more effective, providing competitive advantage through that, innovating new products and services. That I think this is, for competitiveness perspective, really a key technology to be working with. We've also already discussed the AI issues, water consumption, electricity consumption, also how those AI models have been trained on basically stolen and copyrighted data, and so on. So there's a lot of ethical issues on AI use that we have to be aware of, and that requires responsible use for AI systems. But I see that benefits for businesses are really great at this moment. So it's a decision to made about responsible or business development. But I think like this DeepSeek, what's happening with DeepSeek is really interesting, that they basically managed to generate a model that is 95% more effective than what were the models that OpenAI, for example, had developed. And that's a drastic change in the marketplace, like really drastic change, which requires that when the model is 95% more effective, it requires 95% less computing power to come up with relatively same level of results. And this is reducing, of course, water consumption. This is reducing electricity consumption, and even DeepSeek is publishing their data set that they have used to train this AI model, which I think is quite progressive. So the systems are developing all the time, and I think these are some of the solutions for the ethical issues on AI use that we are now seeing being implemented in the marketplace that should help us to deal with these negative aspects, or at least alleviate them. But again, it's about how you use it. So if you would fly over a consultant from Helsinki to visit your company in Inari, for example, and having stayed there for a week and working with you with all the data that you have about your company to develop strategy and business development plan, AI can almost do some of the stuff that would be done on that trip. So you might even be able to save resources with this AI use if used properly. So strongly recommend getting to the next level of AI implementation. It's here to stay for sure. It will have a drastic impact on businesses, and it already has. We are seeing a lot of academic studies that are all telling the same message, is that AI capable companies are already doing financially much better than companies that are not into this AI development field. And I think the story has been that for a while now, and this is just accelerating it. So from the business development perspective, absolutely a critical technology to be working with at this moment. Thank you.
Thank you, Juho.